Hello everyone, I'm Ciara Gustin. Let's try that again. Hello everyone, welcome in.
This is our very first podcast episode.
So obviously we have to start with introductions. I'm Ciara Gustin.
And I'm Kiara Davis. This podcast is meant to help Sussex Tech students get to know more about what's happening around the school. And we'll be featuring different guests for episodes.
Speaking of guests, we have here today the new principal, Mr. John Baugher.
Hello, everybody.
Our first question we're going to start off with is, tell us about your background and credentials.
I actually started my career in the classroom. I started teaching social studies, and I was a classroom teacher for 15 years where I was the head football coach, head lacrosse coach, head tennis coach at one point. I think I taught every subject in social studies that you could possibly teach. I started at a place called Francis Scott Key High School, which is actually very similar setting. The school was surrounded by cornfields, kind of like Sussex Tech is. We're kind of surrounded by cornfields here. And it was a great place to start my career in the classroom and working with students. From there, I became an assistant principal for a couple years, then became a principal, and been a principal at now with tech involved in that with 3 different high schools. So 2 in the state of Maryland and 1 here in Delaware.
And how are you adjusting to the new school environment?
I think it's an incredible place to teach, to work, to be around young people. I think it's a great place to learn. I'm learning the traditions that have been established here at Tech for years, and I think I'm learning some new things about the state of Delaware because Maryland and Delaware are slightly different places in how they run. So as long as I'm able to ask those questions and get some support, I think things are going okay, and I'm adjusting fairly well. I'll have to let the students and the staff decide really how well that is. So,
as you move to this new position, what do you hope to accomplish?
It's a great question. And I love education. I think it's the most important thing about our nation. I think it's the most important thing that we do as a society is that we basically develop young people and try to inspire them to reach their goals. We do a lot of other things like try to teach them how to comply within certain parameters. We try to teach them how to play sports and how to compete and how to struggle and how to be able to get through all those items. But my ultimate goal is, no matter where I am, is to help build a positive culture, climate within the school, and basically help drive us really to become the best school in the state of Delaware and beyond. Because I want all of our students to be able to have any opportunity when they leave this place. If they want to go to California, I want them to be able to compete with the students in California. If they want to go to New York, I want them to be able to compete with the students in New York. If they want to stay here and stay at Seaford or stay at Laurel or stay at Cape or wherever, that's it. I want them to be able to do that too, but I want them to have the options and the best opportunities no matter where they go.
Was being a principal something you always wanted to do?
No, I wanted to play in the NFL, but that hasn't happened. But I ended up loving coaching, and I played at Salisbury University. It was Salisbury State College back then. And ultimately, I wanted to teach and coach, and then never really thought about being a principal, to be honest with you. But the commissioner, I heard the commissioner of the NBA speak one time, and they said, don't really chase your job. If you work hard, if you dedicate yourself to a position, then the next job will show up. The next job will happen. And fortunately, in my career, I've been able to kind of have that happen in a couple different spots along the way.
And what does being a principal entail?
It entails being awake at 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes with phone calls. It entails answering emails late at night. It entails trying to be energetic in the morning when students are walking in the building and trying to get them excited about it. It's working with people together and really building a collaborative piece of a school. There's a lot of moving parts to a school, from everything from athletics to drama to grading, the building, whether or not we have air conditioning running today, if we have to adjust things or move things. And no day is ever the same. Every day is very different. And you can plan your day out, but I can guarantee as soon as you plan your day out, something's going to change what you need to focus on. So ultimately, it's about prioritizing, and it's really about getting people to work together. It is a people business. We're here. We don't produce cogs. We don't produce plastic. We don't produce glasses. We produce human beings, and we help them and hopefully guide them to become better.
So, how has your past experience working as a principal helped you in the new life at Sussex Tech?
Great. That's another good question. I think it's helped me because I've had a lot of experiences dealing with difficult situations and changing schools for the better in some way, shape, or form, and working with staff and students and the community at large to be able to make those changes. If you're going to create true change, if you're going to make a change that stays and becomes part of the culture within a building, it can't be from the top down. It's got to be from the bottom up. The students, the staff, the community have to agree with the direction that you're going. And I think in the past, I think that's what I've been able to help schools do, and I hope that we can do that together here. Whatever that means and whatever that is or whatever our goals are, that's what I hope to be able to do here, is to help guide that. Yeah.
Around tech, are there any sort of problems you notice or stuff you would want to change or fix?
I think the most exciting thing, I don't know if I'd look at them as problems, but I think some of the challenges that we have is we aren't one community. We're not a community school. All of our kids aren't sitting unlike Central, unlike Seaford, unlike Laurel, unlike Cape, unlike all these other schools that our kids go to where they come from. We don't have that community-based piece with us. And I think that creates some challenges. I don't think that's a problem or an issue, but I think that's something that we always need to be aware of and continue to work to make ourselves or make all of our students and our staff feel a part of tech. If we can establish a community feel among 7 or 8 different communities that come together as one, wouldn't that be incredible? If we were all driving in the same direction for everybody's support together, that would be wonderful. That would be incredible if we could do that.
I think some of the separation probably comes from the different tech areas, because I know there's not as much connection between them all, so people sort of don't mix as much.
Right, and I think that's one thing that we're working on as a school. We just started a program called integration projects, or we're redesigning our teachers to sort of be clustered together based upon ultimately a CTE program, but also adding math teachers to that CTE program, English teachers to that CTE program. And then we're going to ask them to sort of develop a small, simple activity to work together. And then maybe that balloons into something even bigger so that we come together even stronger as a tech school, so that we all understand what we do individually, but that we all still work together as one school. So it's difficult, it's challenging to do that, but hopefully we can maybe accomplish it over the next couple of years.
Is there anything happening currently to address the student concerns?
So we have our normal operations like a student government association. But one thing that I would like to develop over this year and the beginning of next year is to basically run either a summer or a spring or a fall leadership program where we take our major student organizations, bring them together, design what activities we're going to do throughout the year, almost assign certain activities and things for them to do, but come together as one so that we're covering maybe different topics or different things that we haven't done with students. The other thing that we can create is a principal advisory council with our students where those leaders come together, maybe meet quarterly and talk about some concerns that they might have and then how we can address those. If you think about what I talked about before, ultimately, if you get the students and the staff and the community working together, you can take care of issues. Like if we have an issue with cell phones, we need the students' support in doing or changing any rules or expectations. Now, we haven't had the time to do that up to this point, but I think that's something we need to look at in the future. If we're having problems with students vaping in the bathroom, we need to really talk about how we can change it with our students. I asked a couple of kids a couple of weeks ago, I said, how can we change that? And they're like, I'm not sure you can, Mr. Baugher, but can we work together to make the place even better? We may not be able to solve all the problems, but I think if we work together, and it also teaches our students that it's the right way to work together. When we have an issue in a community when you get older, if you have an issue in your state when you get older, how do you want to change that? How do you want to solve that? How do you want to correct that? And how do you work with your government agencies to do that?
So a lot of what you want to do is build a better, more interconnected community here at Tech, and hope that can sort of we can all lean on each other and help
Exactly.
solve problems.
Exactly. So if we're trying to start we're trying to restart our alumni association so our students can access resources from that organization. We're looking to create a couple other pieces that might bring other people into tech to help our students get work-based learning programs, to get acceptances into college. Basically, we're looking, as we're getting ready to build this new building, we're getting ready to add some pieces, I think, that are going to help support our students to be successful. And you do have to get buy-in for all of those. And then there's ultimately time that kind of comes in the way, because we're only here for 179, 180 days or so each year. So there's a time to implement that kind of gets in the way sometimes. So, all right.
Is there anything else that you see when you picture the future of tech?
Well, you asked me a question about kind of like what I wanted to do here, and I think I want to make sure that we're on the cutting edge of everything that we do. And I think the new building is going to help with some of those pieces, but I think ultimately our teachers, and when we create what we call our advisory committees, when they're working with people that are in the industry or when they're people that are working in colleges, if they can share with us what we should be sharing with our students and how we should be teaching our students. If you think about it, artificial intelligence, I don't know if we're really working with our kids about how to use that as an effective tool in any industry. But you're going to find, I think, that's going to come around the corner pretty quickly, and we need to be on the cutting edge of that. And I think those are some things that we need to talk about and to teach our students about, so that they can basically compete on a national and a global scale.
Sort of being ahead of the issue instead of behind it.
Correct. Right. So we're hoping we're going to get there.
That's true. I was on editing software yesterday, and it was like AI feature, do this on, it's everywhere. So starting now is a good place to start.
Yeah, it's interesting. My daughter's getting married this weekend.
Yeah.
And, the weekend that we recorded this. And the gentleman who is doing the wedding, he actually used AI to sort of print out his speeches, and he put some pieces of information in and it spit it out, then he adjusted it, he put some more in, and he's doing that for something as simple as a wedding. So, it's going to be interesting to where the world's going to head as far as technology is concerned. And my hope is that we're on the cutting edge of all of it.
Definitely. So for your time at Tech so far, what has been your favorite part?
The kids, the students, not the kids, the students. I think our students, I will say of all the schools that I've ever been in, our kids are the most well-behaved students. I've seen that they're very respectful. Obviously we have some that don't do that, but the majority of them have been very kind, very nice. They work hard. I've seen them in the classrooms, and I've seen them on the field, and I've seen them, working to get better. I went out to marching band practice, and it's just incredible to see our kids work so hard. And I think the future is bright if I look at our kids and our students here and what they're going to become, because ultimately I think it's a really cool place, to be honest with you.
There's definitely a lot of character in the students at Sussex Tech.
It is. And then there's a lot of differences between them. And I have noticed, at least, and I don't know the undertow yet, because in every school there's always an undertow that people don't know about. And that might be something that students need to bring to us and talk to us about. But for the most part, it seems like students pretty much get along pretty well, regardless of, we don't seem to have as many cliques as I've had in other buildings along the way. And I don't know if that's just a product of the technical school, or if it's a product of bringing kids here from different communities and them almost having to force to get to know each other a little bit along the way. So I think that's a great thing.
What about your least favorite part of tech?
I don't know if I have a least favorite part of tech. The least favorite part of when I have moved here and when I started to teach here is that I'm away from my daughter. I have my son here, which is a cool thing, which is an awesome thing, but I don't get to see her as often. So I think it's a personal thing, I guess, in that sense. But the toughest part, the challenging part, is just learning the processes that were here before, and maybe learning some of the way that how schools operate in Delaware versus Maryland. So I guess that would be a little bit of a challenge, but I don't think there is a bad thing.
Is there any big difference what would you say the biggest difference is between Maryland and Delaware?
Probably not a lot between the two, but as far as as far as being a tech school is concerned, I think our focus on making sure that students are truly able to be college and career ready. Because if a student wants to go to college, that's awesome and great. We give them that opportunity here as well. But we also give you the opportunity so that if you choose to, you can use a certification to get a job right away, or you can use a certification to go to college and then use that certification, whatever your degree is in, when you finish in college, you can now use that certification to help you promote yourself to get a better job or to get into a higher ranking position earlier. So I think that's pretty cool.
There's also a ton of kids who go to the military. Just today, a military officer came down, talked to me about what I wanted to do after graduating.
Right. And having a JROTC program here is incredible. I've been in one building prior where we had a Army ROTC program, and I think that is a great stepping stone for students to use. Even if a student doesn't want to do that, if you are going in the military, you're going to have a better opportunity if you have a skill to take with you, a certification with you. So it's all about allowing our students to compete at a higher level when they leave here. Whatever decision they make, whether they're going into college, whether they're going to work, or whether they're going into the military, we provide an opportunity, if they choose to take it, for them to be able to be more marketable, if that makes sense. And that's really what I want. Like, I want our students, and I keep saying kids, I want our students to be able to really be able, when they walk out of here, you went to tech, you're going to get the job placement. You're going to get the college placement. You're going to get the scholarship. You're going to get the military placement that you want, and you're going to be able to pick the career that you want within the military. And I think that's what it's all about. And then also teaching kids how to be good people.
Yeah. So this is coming up on our last question. Is there anything or advice you would give to students to have a positive and safe school environment?
Great. That is an awesome question. So the most important thing is to, if you hear something or see something, say something. And I think ultimately treating each other well, and you help supporting a better school climate, that's the most important thing that we can do for each other for safety. There's small things like don't open the door when somebody comes and knocks on the door, even if you know that person because you're not sure about it. Telling somebody if there's a stranger within the building, tell her if you've heard something. Even if you don't think it's something important, let us investigate it. Let us take a look at it. But ultimately, we become safer when we treat each other better. And we treat each other with respect. We don't have to like each other. We don't have to get along with each other, but we have to treat each other with respect. And when you have a school that does that, you have a calmer, safer school. And I think if we can promote that a little bit stronger, and if we can have some student organizations work together to be able to make that part of our culture, I think the school becomes a safer place.
So essentially, like the golden rule.
I think so. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. So treat each other well, and I think it's less likely for something to happen here, and it's going to keep us safer. And it doesn't mean necessarily something major. Even when kids get into a physical altercation, it makes the school slightly less safe because people feel that. And I think if we treat each other well, and if we create mechanisms to teach young people how to work through differences, then I think they're going to learn that as adults, and I think our society is even going to be better. Maybe I live in a utopia world, but that's kind of what my goal is. So
I appreciate the optimism.
Yeah. It's needed.
Well, it's awesome.
Yeah.
This is really an awesome place. So, and I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad that that I have the opportunity to serve here at Tech. So.
Okay. Well, we would like to thank you for being here and spending your time to come talk with us.
Well, thank you both.
It's been a real pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, so that's all we have for the first episode of the Raven Podcast.